Right now, somewhere in America, the biggest World Cup in history is being played. 48 teams, 3 countries, a billion eyes watching. And on that giant stage stands a country smaller than the crowd watching it. An island of 156,000 people, and the stadium nearly held half of them. You'd expect a story about luck, a fairy tale that ends early. But that is not what happened. These tiny nations did not get lucky. They found a loophole, and the giants never saw it coming. The smallest countries quietly hacked the World Cup. Once you see how, you will never watch it the same way. Start with the island. Curacao, 40 miles off the coast of Venezuela, 156,000 people, smaller than a single city neighborhood. In November 2025, they did the impossible. No nation that small had ever done it. They qualified for the World Cup. The old record belonged to Iceland, 350,000 people. Curacao is less than half that size. By people and by land, the smallest ever. Let that sit for a second. A country you cross in an afternoon, standing beside Brazil, France, Argentina. How is that even possible? For most of football history, it was not. Small nations had no chance. A few thousand players to choose from. The giants had millions. And worse, the small fed the giants. The best players born in Curacao did not play for Curacao. They played for the Netherlands. The island was part of the Dutch kingdom, so its talent flowed one way. Out, to Amsterdam, to the orange shirt. Curacao was a farm. It grew players for someone else's harvest. Then in 2010, something shifted. The old colonial cluster was dissolved. Curacao became its own country. That meant it could field its own team, its own flag in FIFA. But a flag is not a team. The island still had so few people. So the Federation asked a strange question. What if players need not live here? What if the team is not the island, but everyone the island ever sent away? This is the move. The hack. Look at the Netherlands today. 81,000 Curacao-born people live there. Tens of thousands more born in Holland with Curaçaoan parents and grandparents. Professional players trained in Dutch academies, playing all across Europe. By blood, by family, by heritage, they could play for the island. So Curaçao went looking. Leaders made calls and sent messages. They flew out to meet players who never set foot on the island their grandmother came from. And one by one, they said yes. When Curaçao qualified, 25 of the 26 were born abroad. The island's team was built far away, led by a 77-year-old Dutch coach named Dick Advocaat. The island did not grow a team. It called one home. But here's the real strategy. None of it works without one rule change. In September 2020, FIFA rewrote eligibility. The old rules locked you for life. The new rules opened the door. A player with the right heritage, not yet capped in a major game, could switch his national team. Choose the nation of his blood instead of the nation of his birth. FIFA called it modernization. The small nations called it opportunity. Suddenly, the diaspora became a talent pool. Every grandchild scattered across Europe was a possible international. The giants had millions at home. The tiny nations now had millions abroad. And Curaçao was not the only one. Meet Cape Verde, 10 islands in the Atlantic, off the coast of West Africa. Around 500,000 people. Never reached a World Cup in its history until 2025. They qualified too. And their squad was built the same way. From the diaspora, scattered across Portugal, France, the Netherlands. One player was found on LinkedIn. A message like a job offer. In June 2026, history happened. A player named Kevin Pina scored Cape Verde's first World Cup goal. A goal a century in the making. Scored by the children of people who left. 2 of 4 newcomers this World Cup were tiny islands using the same hack. Now, zoom out for a moment. This raises an uncomfortable question. If a team is born somewhere else, whose team is it really? A historian in Rotterdam studied this. At Erasmus University, his name is Gijsbert Unk. He built a database of every player to ever appear at a World Cup. 10,137 of them, from 1930 to 2018. The foreign-born player is not new. He is everywhere. Football is a map of human movement. Empires, migrations, refugees, workers chasing a better life. Every wave of people leaving home eventually shows up on a national team. Curacao and Cape Verde did not break football. They made the oldest truth impossible to ignore. There is one more piece. Why now? Why this World Cup? This is the first with 48 teams, up from 32, 16 new spots, more doors than ever before. The nations ready to walk through already knew the trick: who to call, where the diaspora lived, how to bring them home. The expansion opened the gate. The hack walked right through it. Some people hate this. They say it is not real. A team born in Holland, is that really the island? Is heritage you never lived a country? And it is a fair question. What makes someone belong to a place? The soil under your feet? The blood in your veins? The flag your grandmother kept folded away? There is no clean answer. But watch a player when the anthem plays. A man from a Rotterdam suburb sings for an island he barely knew, and he cries. Something real is happening there. Belonging is not only where you are born, sometimes it is what you choose to claim. So here is what they actually did. They did not cheat the World Cup. They revealed what it always was. Not a contest between patches of land, a story about people, where they go, what they carry, and who they decide to be. An island of 150,000 stood on the same field as nations of 100 million. Not because it grew giants, but because it remembered everyone it lost and asked them to come home. Next time a tiny country walks out for the biggest game on earth, look closely. That team is not small. It is everyone that island ever sent away, finally wearing its colors. And maybe that is the most human thing football has ever done.